Spain, this piece of earth has a special place in my heart. But not because of its natural beauty or its people. No, it's because it was the place where I experienced nothing closer to the epitome of love. A never-ending love for a woman whom I may never be able to be with. A woman who is incomparable to anyone. Someone whom I love to refer to as one of a kind. And someone I deeply respect from the bottom of my heart. It was 2016, and the summer was starting. My family and I have a long-lasting relationship with a Spanish family of 7. Whom we became acquainted with due to the friendship my sister and I formed with their children during their stay in my home country of Costa Rica. They invited us to come over for the summer break after not seeing each other for years so we could visit. As we arrived at my friend's summer house in Segovia, we were welcomed as if we were part of their family. The pleasantries were done, and we accommodated ourselves to our temporary home for the vacation, but something stood out to me. As the front door opened, there she was, greeting everybody until my turn came. I didn't realize it at the time, and maybe she probably didn't either. But we liked each other the moment our eyes met. We've changed a lot since the last time we saw each other. We were different people back then and never really interacted much due to our different environments. I was in middle school. She was in high school, 2 grades above me, and we never really interacted much in general in all those years. But I was 15 this time, and she was 17. And as far as I remember her telling me, I was so much different than how she remembered me back home. The feeling was mutual in a way. Hormones for me were definitely at an all-time high, but I never really ever felt any form of romance. So whatever feelings I had at this time were foreign and definitely underdeveloped for me to know I was falling for her. We interacted multiple times, but not as much as I wished we could have due to time being spent hanging out with her brother, my friend. I have vague memories of our conversations, but looking back, they definitely had a flirtatious nature to them. One specific memory I can recall was the time when we were in the country club's pool, which also had an area next to it that had a large tree that people would use as a form of an umbrella to protect themselves from the sun. One time we were alone, lying on our backs, and at some point she cuddled up to me. I still did not realize that I was developing feelings for her. Thoughts remained that only a flirtatious but platonic friendship was created ever since I arrived in Spain. Other flirtatious occasions occurred between us, and ignorance still covered my already sheltered feelings. Weeks passed until the day before I had to return to my home country. I'll never forget this night. It's a day I wish I could return to and experience over as if it were the very first time. My friend and I were getting ready to hang out with his friends for a stargazing event. We still were very early, so we had time to kill doing basically nothing in their house. She came to the room and asked me if I wanted to walk the dog with her. Again, ignorance still plagued me, but something told me that I had to accept, no matter what. As we got ready, we set out onto the terrace, her dog accompanying us, but in reality, it was just the 2 of us. A little banter between us was made, but I felt that we were not talking about what we needed to talk about. Weirdly enough, it was both of us who felt the same way, beating around the bush endlessly. I never really addressed it, and neither did she, not verbally at least. The look we gave each other was enough to confirm our own suspicions. Time stopped each time those little moments between us happened, and to this day I still cherish them with all my heart. Our lips locked, eyes closed, and nothing surrounding us mattered for a long time. My very first kiss. We kept walking back and forth through the town, night covering our tracks. Our feelings spilled non-stop, telling each other how long we've liked each other. One of my biggest regrets to this day is my lack of courage to open up about my feelings, to realize how I felt way before. As we kept walking during the shade of the night, we kept kissing each other, each time wanting more and more. I felt guilty and expressed my feelings of betrayal toward her brother at some point, but she just stopped me, looked into my eyes, and kissed me once more. Even as I'm writing this, I'm grinning at the thought of her gentleness toward me. This feeling was completely new and addicting. I did not know at the time, but by the end of the night, my heart belonged to her. I did not want it to end here. Not now, not ever. We returned to the house, and I got ready to leave with my friend. I left and she stayed home, but my mind and heart remained there as well, even as I was with my friend's group. At some point during the walk to the stargazing spot, I forgot the keys to the house, so I decided to return to the house to get them. It was a little too convenient, but also a great excuse to see her. Almost as if fate had decided that this needed to happen. She was all I could think about, and my heart raced, fear striking me the closer I got to the house. I knocked on the door, and she opened it. It was an awkward scene, to be frank, so I grabbed the keys and left in a hurry, giving her a smile on my way out. This should be the end of the night. There was no way I would see her until the morning of my departure. It saddened me, knowing that I would not be able to see her for God knows how long. As we arrived at the stargazing spot, we lay down among other groups of teenagers looking for an excuse to drink and hang out on a late summer night. Unexpectedly, my eyes could not believe what they were being presented with. There she was, with her own group of friends. She came up to me, greeting each other in a gleeful fashion. I asked her what she was doing here, as I thought she said that she wasn't going to go with her friends. She said something that I will never ever forget, something so simple yet so impactful that it has left a mark on me, and I won't ever forget till I die. She told me, "I wanted to see you." It was a sweet and simple answer, but its significance to me will never be matched. We spent the night watching the stars, with her lying on me while I hugged her. We didn't really need to talk much other than to answer the friends surrounding us. It may have been dark, but her silhouette, her smell, her soft hair, and her vague smile were enough for me. Time passed and we had to head back home. I don't remember what excuse we gave, but we decided to head back home together, just the two of us. We held hands, looking at the ground as if it were some cliché romantic novel, and in front of us, we found a small tree. We snuck behind it and kissed passionately, time stopping each time. It wasn't just the kisses that I liked. Hugging her, holding her face, her hair, her waist. Not looking at her was just impossible. Sometimes people would walk by and we would hide as we did not want anyone to find out that we were having a thing. We felt like we were breaking the law, and that was fun in its own way. We both giggled at this idea and kept heading home, hugs, kisses, and feelings being let out at their own pace. Everything felt so natural. Why did it have to happen at the very end of my trip? As we got to the entrance of her house, things got a little deeper. At this point, I don't want to be explicit, but to put it bluntly, we got very intimate with each other. A night I will never forget. Not because of how it ended, but because it was with her, and I would not have had it any other way. I had to wake up early to catch my plane, and I almost did something that I would have regretted more than I already did. Even if I was inexperienced, I should not have done this, but I was unsure if I should have woken her up and said goodbye. I almost left the house, but I thank whatever power woke her up to come to me and say goodbye. Regret is deeply embedded in me to think that it would have been appropriate to leave like that. She never said anything about the matter, but I won't ever forgive myself for having that thought and almost going through with it. Our last embrace was the longest I have ever felt. It was tender, filled with love and sadness as well. I left that day in a very melancholic fashion. She was the first girl I've ever kissed, but that was not what was important to me. To this day, she is the girl I love. My heart, to this day, belongs to her, even years after. I have visited multiple times and have gone through many things after this event, many good, many sad. I don't think she knows I love her. Through the time we stayed apart, we moved on in our ways. We've gone through our own relationships and we moved on in our own way. I always have a sense of nostalgia for her. She has a special place in my heart, and I have accepted that we may never be together due to our distance and other circumstances, and that's okay. At the end of the day, the only thing I wish upon this woman is happiness. It doesn't have to be me that provides it, but she gave me something to cherish, and the only thing I want in return is her happiness. I have accepted that I love her but can't be with her. A constant pain that I'll live with from time to time, especially right now. It'll pass. It always does. I wish upon her nothing but success and happiness. She will always remain a constant passenger in my heart. I don't know if I still reside in hers after all these years, but secretly, I hope.